Hello and welcome to Running the Table, the podcast where we run through everything on the table in the world of sports. And who would have guessed it? It's more Boom Buster Believable, where we're continuing to work our way through the Big Ten, breaking down the men's basketball teams and their outlooks for the rest of the season. Next on the list, preseason number 8, the Rutgers Scarlet Knights. So Rutgers currently sits at 17-10 and 9-7 in the Big Ten, and that's good for tied for fourth with Iowa, Maryland, and Michigan. So again, so many of them in the middle of the pack there that are all neck and neck. But looking at some of their key players, leading the team in points per game is Clifford Omori at 13.4 points, 9.8 rebounds, and 2.1 blocks per game. Second is transfer Cam Spencer, who's currently at 12.6 points, 3.4 rebounds, 3.3 assists, 2.2 steals per game, shooting 92.3% from the free throw line and 42.5% from three. So Cam Spencer has just done a little bit of everything, and he leads the team in multiple shooting categories. He's been a great addition for them in terms of adding their scoring to an already elite defense. And two other guys that if you know Rutgers, you've probably heard their names before. Guard Caleb McConnell at 9.7 points, 5.4 rebounds, and 3.0 assists per game, as well as 2.5 steals per game. And then Paul Mulcahy, sort of the other combo guard, at 8.7 points, 3.5 rebounds, 5.1 assists per game, as well as 1.7 steals per game for him. And he is shooting 39.5% from three. So Rutgers, they're a team that's pretty much all defense, and if their offense shows up, then boy, are they hard to stop. And that shows here in their KenPom rankings. They start off with adjusted offensive efficiency at 128th, but their adjusted defensive efficiency is 4th. So we have one of the best defenses in the country. Their offense just doesn't quite match up. And that combines for an adjusted efficiency margin of 27th. And their adjusted tempo is 237th. And that puts them at pretty middle of the pack. And they're not a team that's super willing to get out in transition unless they really have a great opportunity for it. And they're much more willing to run their sets. And their strength of schedule is 54th. So not one of the higher ones in the Big Ten necessarily. And some of that has to do with their non-conference scheduling. And this brings us into some of their key wins and losses. They had a great win against Indiana, 63-48 back on December 3rd, holding Indiana to 48 at the time. That was their lowest scoring margin in a long, long time. But they followed that up with a loss at home against Seton Hall, 45-43 on December 11th. So you see, again, in that game, their defense was incredible, holding Seton Hall to 45, but they were only able to put up 43 of their own. And that's sort of been their kryptonite throughout the year. But you follow that up with the flip side where they win a close game at Purdue on January 2nd, 65-64. As we pointed out in the Purdue breakdown, the students weren't there, and of course I'll keep ringing that bell till the end of time. That still was an amazing road victory for them, but they also went more recently a home loss against Nebraska, 82-72 on February 14th, where their offense showed up a little bit more, but their defense broke down and gave up 82 points. But you can't talk about Rutgers Scarlet Knights basketball without quoting Jimmy V.
Family, religion, Rutgers basketball.
Family, religion, Rutgers basketball. You know how it is. The Scarlet Knights have been having quite a season so far, but their work is far from over. They've lost 3 of their last 4 after having a great stretch during the middle of the season, which put them up in second in the Big Ten for a little while there. But they still have one of the best defenses in the country. Their offense just can't really stick with it, and their offensive efficiencies have been their downfall lately. They've struggled to combine solid defensive performances with solid offensive performances, and they haven't been able to close as many close games as they were earlier in the season, like the Purdue game. Regardless, they still have the ability to beat any team on any day, as shown with their road upsets, such as with Purdue in January. And they're currently projected as an 8 seed. So they do need to have some strong performances coming up here in the future at home against Michigan and at Penn State in their next 2 games to get back on track and make sure they have a spot in the NCAA tournament. But that's all she wrote for today. We're a little more than halfway through all of the Big Ten teams, so expect to see more of these soon in the coming weeks as we continue to push out tons of content to you guys before Selection Sunday and the madness officially begins. Here on the channel, we have lots of other content from the NFL to other college basketball videos and plenty other Big Ten breakdowns. And we have so much more planned for the near future. But if you want more from us, check out our other videos, like and subscribe, and until next time, peace.